So your fixed manufacturing overheads, as I've mentioned with the previous video, that these are your the costs or the expenses that remain fixed regardless of how many units the company produces. So meaning regardless of how many units the manufacturing entity has produced, they remain fixed, right? So let's say you have your rent here, which is 10,000. Just gonna make an example. And then you have your depreciation, which is your 15,000, just making an example. And then you have your rates and taxes, 5,000. And then your cleaning staff, 7,000. Sorry. So when you add those together, it's your 10,000, right? Plus 15 plus 5 plus 7, which is a 37,000. Right. So with this account, fixed manufacturing overheads, so here you will need your normal units and your actual units. So your normal produced units and your actual produced units. So now, after you have identified your fixed manufacturing cost, you must now identify your normal production units or your actual. So let's say here you have actual units. So actual units are those units that you have actually produced this year, your units that you have produced this year. So let's say it's 5,000 units, and then your normal, let's say, it's equals to 3,000 units. So with this calculation, in order to calculate your allocated overheads, you're gonna say the total multiply by your actual divided by your normal, right? So the actual units, you must know how to calculate your units. So meaning it is your units produced at the beginning, and then if like, let me just say your units produced this year. So maybe let's say they didn't give you your units produced this year, but then they give you the units at the beginning, they give you units at the end, and then they gave you units sold, right? So now you must work around that in order for you to get your units produced, because usually when you calculate the units at the end, it is units at the beginning plus units produced minus units at the end, and then you get your units produced, right? And don't forget to list the units sold, yes. And then now when you calculate that, you say multiply by 5,000 units, actual units, divided by 3,000 units. You get to be 61,667. So I'm gonna scratch this out. 61,667. 61,667.